Round 3, currently 1-1. Hand is great. Maybe these Atarkas are showing up too much. I mean, it's been good. Ooh, Mardu. This is a bad matchup, I think. I'm not going to fetch because I kind of need a land. Do have 2 Wayfinders, so need might not be entirely accurate, but... Alright, now we have a pick. I think we can just take the Palace. Gets us almost all of our colors. Well, basically all of our colors, because we have Haven for white. And then we can play that next turn with another Wayfinder. We're in no rush to actually hit our 3 on time. And if we took a Heath and had to Heath into a forest, we'd still be kind of mana screwed. So, gonna get Thought Seized. That's no thing. Probably take Den Protector. But we still got a lot of action. A lot of stuff going on. Mardu is tough, though. Murderous Cut is nice, especially since our opponent didn't see it. And pretty much the reason why I added a second one. Yeah, we hit a Plains, but a lot of dragons. Yeah, we're going to attack. Rabblemaster might be the worst card for us, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. And we still have Rabblemaster pretty much under control. Urborg is nice. We're going to start with a Courser. Again, Courser over Raptor to try and get some value. Because we're not really trying to race our opponent here. I think our late game is going to take over should we get there. So bring the Wayfinder beats here. Opponent's at 15 already, which isn't bad. Maybe we just play a little more of a tempo-y game. Opponent has a Crackling Doom for our Courser. That's not really a big deal. And now we have some options. We could just Wayfinder, get back a dragon, hopefully Wayfinder into an untapped land, then play Ojutai. Or we could play Raptor and just not worry about Wayfindering this turn. Or we could Wayfinder and try and hit a green, and if we don't hit a green, hopefully we hit an untapped source. I think ideally I'd want to play Wayfinder and Raptor this turn. There's no guarantee that Ojutai actually lives, considering he used a Crackling Doom on our Courser. So we can pick up another Haven here, which would be kind of nice. We cannot play Raptor this turn, but yeah, Haven might be sweet. We could just play Raptor face down. So at this point, our hand is known, except for the Murderous Cut. And we're not jamming a bunch of dragons, but kind of don't want to start sacking these Havens until we get to Atarka something anyway. And then we basically found everything. We have Silumgar, Dramoka, and Ojutai. So we have all the dragons. We have all the options. And now we have another land. So opponent killed our Raptor, probably assuming it was a Den Protector, but opponent didn't know we had the Raptor too. I mean, either way, it's the best thing to roar. So if our opponent plays something, we get to Atarka it next turn. Otherwise, we can just sack one of these Havens to get a dragon. And here's a Storm Breath. And I think I want to get value with the Atarka. I don't mind taking the 4 down to 11. I think we're still in okay shape. And then we have Ojutai as a follow-up, so that's not bad either. Atarka you. Bang. So now, our opponent can't really play Storm Breath because we have an Atarka on D. So it has to take a turn off to Crackling Doom, or, you know, just lose to our 8/8. Either one is acceptable. So against the Mardus, we want the prices. Foul Tongue seems pretty good, although like on the draw against Rabble Master, it can be kind of bad. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe these are going to end up being not great. But I don't mind doing something like this. Like Dramoka might also just die. They don't have a lot of spot removal though. There's not like Hero's Downfall. There's just Dooms and Foul Tongues, which I assume Foul Tongue will go out since we have Wayfinder. Downfall might just be better than some Foul Tongues. Then maybe Atarka's too slow and Dramoka actually is better. But then we have 4 extra cards. Raptors are probably not great since he mostly has an Air Force, so I could see cutting a couple of these, if not all of them. So maybe 2 Raptors, 2 Foul Tongues, and then on the play have all the Foul Tongues because we could actually hit a Rabble Master before it makes a token. This matchup has been interesting. I've only played against it once, and it seemed difficult. Just my opponent's draws didn't cooperate. And I don't really want the discard here. It seems like I have better ways to deal with this stuff, and his stuff is all pretty slow, so I don't really need the cheap spell. It's possible all the Raptors should go here, though. And our hand is pretty good. Wayfinder into Downfall, and then some Den Protectors to eventually get some of that stuff back. And we have a Caryatid. So I think we lead on Caryatid. And our opponent doesn't have any duels, just has fetch lands. So no white mana showing. My opponent did keep in Foul Tongue. I'm going to feel pretty silly for not leading with Wayfinder, but I feel like that's unlikely considering I have Wayfinder and Deathmist Raptor. And the fetches are getting cracked, presumably to try and draw some white mana. Could just have a Pain Land, I suppose. Yeah, Battlefield Forge. But no play. So now, well, we could try to keep open Downfall. And then just untap and play Ojutai. And then if that gets Crackling Doomed, we can start Den Protecting it back. So yeah, I think it's better to just keep open Downfall. We're not in a rush to make our land drop. And I think it's better as a tempo play if our opponent plays a Thunderbreak Regent. Might be kind of bad if he did decide to Crackling Doom away my Caryatid, but thankfully that did not happen. There's an Outpost Siege. So that's kind of brutal. We do have a Dramoka. So maybe this Ojutai will live. It's entirely possible our opponent would not want a Crackling Doom or Caryatid, but I think I would. So we'll open up the Exile Zone so we can see what Outpost Siege is going to reveal. And it is a Stormbreath Dragon. So if our opponent decides to play that this turn, that works out well for us, since we can just kill it and attack. And it appears that that is what our opponent is choosing to do. So I'm fine with this turn of events. And yeah, no attack. Which isn't that strange. Try to prevent me from getting an Ojutai hit in. Thankfully, we have the removal spell. And we'll take a look before we Wayfinder or Temple. I think if our best card is a Caryatid or something, we would take that and play that. So instead, it is a Downfall. I think Caryatid is safely the worst card here. And then Wayfinder. And then we shall scry. We do hit a land. Perfect. So despite our opponent having an Outpost Siege, we certainly have a lot of initiative here. Second Dramoka It's okay, but not really great since we have so many den protectors. Although I'm not sure what I'm really digging for. Maybe just more removal. So I think we can bottom this. Opponent reveals a Seeker of the Way, so not super impressive. If our opponent plays Seeker and Crackling Doom, might just play out a Den Protector to try to get the beat started, but I could also just play a Dromoka. Dromoka's probably better. Something that can't be killed very easily outside of Crackling Doom. We have way too many dragons, and they don't have nearly enough Crackling Dooms. Or Murderous Cuts, or whatever. It does appear to be a Murderous Cut, though. So Ojutai is dead. And then does the Seeker come out? Yes, it does. So we shall get our Scry on. And then next turn we're in the territory of flipping Den Protector to get back Foul Tongue and casting it. And we'll keep that Haven because that's effectively a spell. So we'll see if this Dromoka lives. Opponent's outpost sieges into a Temple of Malice. I'm curious to see what our opponent's hand is. I am curious. Looks like a Kolagon. And that is going to die. So I like our spot. Get the downfall, still have 5 mana. For our Den Protector. And I don't see a reason to downfall quite yet. Yeah, one of the best ways to beat Outpost Siege is just going over the top of it, playing like these giant things, and hope that they don't, you know, continually flip over Crackling Dooms, basically. Yeah, it's possible I actually just end up wanting to downfall the Seeker instead of the Kolagon. Because our opponent's at 6, and if they don't have a Seeker to gain life, they're in pretty big trouble. We'll see where these Scries go. 1 on bottom, 2 on bottom. So down to 4 life after the Read the Bones. Draconic Roar. It's going to take out the Den Protector. I don't see any reason to get back anything other than Hero's Downfall, so I'll just do that now. So then when we cast Hero's Downfall, our opponent doesn't know that we have another one. I don't think it's going to change much, but I do think it is the technically correct play. So we fall to a paltry 22 life. Now here's Anger of the Gods. Interesting. So we can simply downfall the Seeker, And then Downfall Kolagon. And that should be the game. Love that Draconic Roar plus Anger is just a little short of killing Tremoka. So, we're not going to waste any time. We're just going to kill this thing and kill our opponent. And that's it. Yeah, this is probably one of the tougher matchups. The combination of Thoughtseize removal, specifically Crackling Doom, and a little bit of early pressure can certainly be difficult, but sometimes, you know, if they give you enough time, you just overpower them. So, I think we learned some lessons. Just make sure we have a threat against decks that are kind of scary. So, like the mono red deck with its Thunderbreak Regents. I think if we just had a threat, we would have been in good shape. So instead of only keeping in 6 dragons, maybe keep in 8. And that should be a healthy enough recipe for that matchup, I think.